What's good, y'all? Elvis here, back again with another tutorial. This client in particular wanted a taper, but this is a tutorial specifically for the lineup. So movie magic, bing, bow, bang. Taper done. Now we're just starting with the lineup. So before anything, I like to wipe down my client's forehead with a paper towel with some alcohol on it, just to wipe away any debris, oil, any of that. It makes the surface way easier to work with. Then I dry it real quick, and then after I dry it, I'm gonna come behind it with a paper towel with some holding spray on it. And that's gonna hold a lot of the hairs down and keep them stiff and not moving around, so the line will be so much sharper. And then after I put that on, I'm gonna be drying it again with the blow dryer. And now we are ready to jump into the lineup. So grab my trimmers and I start in the middle, of course. And then you're gonna wanna be working on the side that is slightly higher, because most people's corners are not perfectly parallel. So I'm starting on the corner that's ever so slightly higher, making sure that side lines up with the middle and is sharp, trying to follow his natural line. But something to note with this client, I don't feel like it was the ideal client to use for this tutorial, just because his hair is bleached here and naturally it's darker, so there's more contrast between his hair and his skin. But with his hair being lighter, especially when your clients bleach their hair, a lot of times the hair on the lineup is bleached, so the contrast is even lower. But it's a little hard to see with the clippers when I hit it with the trimmers rather. But it's a lot easier to see when I use the razor, and you'll see that ash line. But something to notice here, the way I'm using the trimmers, especially on the sides, you're gonna wanna make sure your wrist is rotating, following the curve, rather than just trying to tap the line like you do in the front. But now we're rotating the client, we're working on the other side. It's still a little difficult to see, but the front line is nice and established. And now we're going to be working on the vertical bars on the sides. You're going to want to keep these as natural as possible starting off, just because you can never put the hair back. Keep that in mind. Always measure twice and cut once. And keep the rotation of the wrist and the trimmer following that line rather than tapping it. And you also want to make sure your trimmers are set sharp enough to cut the fine hairs, but not so sharp that they're causing irritation on your client. So now we grab a straight razor and we're just going to be cleaning up the line we left the trimmers. Of course, when you're using a straight razor, you want to make sure you're pulling the skin tight and moving the blade in only one direction, because if you're moving it side to side diagonal, you have cut them open, and that is a problem. But see, with the straight razor, you can start to see the ash line that's left behind, and it makes it way easier to visualize the symmetry of the haircut. And I think that's ideal, especially with clients that have low contrast between the color of the skin and their hair. And I like to use the straight razor on the vertical bars first, because it allows me to see how it frames up with the eyebrows. And the eyebrows are damn near the most symmetrical element of people's faces. So if the lineup lines up with the eyebrows, the hairline is more than likely as symmetrical as it could possibly be. And as you're doing this lineup with either the trimmer or the straight razor, you're gonna wanna make sure you're not taking excessive strokes and passes over the same area, because that's just gonna cause abrasions on the skin and cause irritation for your client, and it's gonna be uncomfortable and make the haircut look worse as a result. I remember when I first started and I was doing a lot of stalling during a haircut because I wasn't exactly confident in my ability and what I needed to do to make the lineup or the haircut better. So I was going over the same areas over and over again, kind of just so my client wouldn't think I didn't know what to do. Because when you take a step back and you're looking too hard, a lot of times I can make clients feel uncomfortable. Y'all probably thought we were done. Nope, that was just a rough draft. After I go in with the straight razor, I like to comb hairs down and hit with the trimmers the hairs that hang over the line, because that's what makes the lineup really sharp. Because it can be sharp when they stand up and get out the chair, but if they brush it and comb it and hair hangs down over the line, it no longer feels like a fresh cut. So this is an important detailing step. this step is the difference between a cut being sharp for a few days versus a week and some change. Here we're cleaning up my client's face. It's funny because I asked him, hey bro, you want me to get your sideburns? And he said, what sideburns? And I'm like, damn, because he's high-key sideburn goals for me. Like I barely got peach fuzz. But 2022, I'm trying to grow some sideburns. I'm claiming it. I'm gonna do anything I need to. I'm gonna moisturize. I'm gonna take biotin. I'm gonna tuck it in at night, read it bedtime stories. I'm trying to nourish it. I'm trying to grow this beard. Here my hair is on the way, and I high-key didn't even realize I didn't record the back lineup, but if you can do the front lineup, you can do the back. High-key, that's just another tutorial. I'll do better next time. Now I'm going over the lineup again with the straight razor to make sure everything is nice and symmetrical, but then also I'm really just trying to establish a nice ash line on the lineup. It gives it a nice clean appearance, especially if the hair around the lineup is thin or light or something. But a lot of people like to use the Barber Magic Pencil or whatever, and they put a little chalky line on there, and that's fine, but I prefer not doing that just because to me it's the most temporary form of enhancement. All right, at this point, we're basically done with the lineup, done with the haircut, and my client likes to rock his curls up top, so I asked him if I could style it. I put a little mousse in my hand, and I'm trying to distribute it evenly in his hair, just kind of cupping it in my hand and then just putting a little as I need to, because it's really easy to just kind of plop it all in one place and then it's oversaturated and wet and it doesn't do what you need it to do. Now I went ahead and picked up my twisted up comb, and we're going in counterclockwise circular motions all around his head. And I really prefer the twisted up comb over the sponge, just because it's a lot easier to clean client to client. It's way more sanitary as well as way more durable. All right, so this is basically the cut. I appreciate y'all watching. If you got any value, go ahead and like and subscribe. But till next time, Craft Over Clout, I'm out.